a little bit about dreams, coming from a Jungian perspective and a Tibetan Buddhist perspective. Because the imagery in dreams is the imagery in the inner child, in the unconscious. So when you're doing your inner work in the unconscious and you get images come forward with the inner child, we may not quite understand them. Similarly in our dreams. So you may want to take some notes on this. You may not. You may want to listen to this back, have a replay. This is especially for those folks who just came off retreat. I didn't get to this section. And for those who already know about dreams, it's always good to have a refresher. So I'm going to preface all of this by saying that I've been working with my dreams since I was about 10 years old. And those of you who had nightmares as children, you walked in your sleep, these are all signs of trauma. These are all signs that there's too much in the unconscious for the conscious mind to bear. And so it comes bleeding into the nighttime. And I went through a period of what we call night terrors even, where it wasn't just sleepwalking, it was absolutely having my eyes wide open, talking, beating people up, because I had all this energy within me that needed to get expelled. So there's extremes, and then as you work with the unconscious, with the inner child and with your dreams, slowly, slowly, those parts of you get quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter. You befriend them. So the first thing I want to say about dreams is that every person and every object and every vehicle or water or weather or whatever is in your dream, every single bit of the dream is you, is a representation of you. Okay? So you may have men in your dreams, you may have siblings, friendships, you may have people that you don't know. All of them, every single one of those beings is you. Even the ones that are chasing you, even the ones that are beating you up. Okay? So that's the very first premise. Every single thing and person in the dream is you. The bed is you. The lamp's you. The water is you. Now, to interpret what each of those major symbols mean, let's begin with vehicles. Okay, so we dream a lot about vehicles, cars, bikes, being on a train, being on a bus, being in crowds. So the vehicles, the way in which we move through life, the way in which we're traveling. Are we traveling fast, slow? Are we traveling in community? So buses and trains are community. Planes, again, community, but going really fast. You're on a bike, you're walking, it's solo journeying, right? Cabs, taxis, maybe a part of you is wishing that somebody would do the journey for you, right? What is a cab? It's a vehicle that takes you someplace, but it's not your own. It's not your own car, okay? Houses, buildings, again, are you. With a house, every room in the house means a different thing. So every room in your house, living room means personal, social. Kitchen is the nurturing part of yourself. Bathroom is very private, your most private self. Bedroom is private, but bathroom is most private. The upper parts of your house, like if you have a little, what do you call it? I can't remember, like a cubby up on the roof in the attic. That's moving into your highest self. In your basement, that's your lower self, sometimes the unconscious, the dark places in you that you don't want to visit. Hallways, dreams can take place in hallways. So those are the connecting parts of your life. You're not quite in your private part, you're not quite in your public. You're moving through life. You're not either here nor there yet. Okay? Institutions, police stations, libraries, hospitals, all those different kinds of universities, they all represent, so a police station is representing authority and structure. Libraries, knowledge. It's your knowledge. If you have a dream and you're sitting in a library and there's so many books and you're feeling confused, that's you being overwhelmed with your own information. Hospitals, being sick and you're working on yourself. Like I've had dreams where I'm on a gurney in a hospital and they're operating on me. So this is all about the inner. You're operating on yourself, you're healing self. Schools, doesn't have to be university, it can be schools, maybe a primary school. You're right at the beginning of learning. So each of the, like you have to always come back to myself, always back to yourself. What is the school to do with me? School is learning. I was in primary school. What does that mean? It means early, you're in your early days of coming to know some of this information. Animals, very important. So animals are different parts of our psyche, different parts of our instincts, different parts of our wildness, different parts of us that haven't been yet tamed necessarily, but is like intrinsic in our nature. So you can dream about dogs and cats. They're very domestic. Dogs are very loyal. Cats are that feline quality of a little bit mysterious, but still domesticated. So it's not the mystery, the divine mystery, but it's that domesticated, sort of quotidien, I call it, the everyday. And then you've got owls and birds of flight. So you're moving into the higher realms with this instinct. If you're dreaming about eagles and owls, really, really good. Really good. You might dream about a bear. Bear has particular meaning in dreams. It's about protection. Black bears especially, black bears, black dogs, black crows. In Tibetan Buddhism, all to do with protection energy. Even when you're walking down the street, if you see a crow, that to me it's Mahakala, which is a protector deity and energy. So you can always nod to it. People are scared of crows in this country because they attack, right? However, if you talk to them as protection, say, thank you for being here. They're cawing at you and they're trying to talk to you. Just know that the divine is trying to say something and you're not paying attention. Okay? Water animals. Water is all about the emotions. I'll get to that in a minute. But if you're dreaming about fish, you're dreaming about whales, you're dreaming about sharks, turtles, anything to do with the water, it's all about how much and how easily you're moving through your emotions. Okay? And the older the animal, meaning the older the animal that has been on the planet, like crocodiles, snakes and lizards, they've been on the planet for tens of thousands of years. That signifies ancient knowledge of self. Like this goes back into past life stuff. So if you dream of a dinosaur, you dream of a crocodile, or you dream of as I say, now my husband's phone is just going off and he's not in the room. Hold on for a sec. Hold on. Okay, he grabbed it. So really old parts of ourselves, old, like I say, crocodiles, dinosaurs. And then you've got mice, you've got little animals, little rodents. They're those sneaky parts of yourself. They're those places that you don't necessarily want to see, but they're there. They're always there and behind. Like mice are crawling through the house. These are places inside of you that are wanting to come forward that you may be aware of, but you don't want to confront. Snakes. Now snake have energy, a very, very particular energy, very, very particular meaning. It's one of the highest animals that you can dream about. I mean, I know it's a reptile, but I'm meaning in the grouping of sentient beings. Snakes are Kundalini life force energy. And it also represents poison, so to be aware of it, but also the highest form of transformation. Okay, so there's the potential. You're dreaming of potential that is coming alive. And it's also to do with sexuality. But I don't want you to get confused with sexuality as you think of it between men and women, or between women and women. Like it's not that kind of sexuality. What it is the life force. Kundalini energy is the force that is in nature, that is all around us, that moves through us. That's what the snake is representing. All right. So if you dream about a whole basket of snakes, this could be confusion around activities. You know, what activity? Like, I'm doing this one, I got life force over there, I got this one, I got this one. Some of it's poisonous, some of it's positive, right? It's all about transformation. Snakes are transformation. I'll do this when I'm thinking about it. Now, there's 3 types of dreams. There's 3 types. The first is dealing with your unconscious. Okay, so every night, our conscious mind needs to clear and bring up information from our subconscious, unconscious, for us to have our next level instruction. That's our daily kind of dreaming. The second kind of dreaming is you could be astral traveling. So you could be traveling between realms. So it's not, you leave your body in this time frame. So you're not actually in your body. The spirit's not in the body's in the bed, but it's gone up into the other realms, the other universes, to do some work there. And how you know that you've had one of those kind is that in the morning, you feel really kind of achy, and it's as if your spirit has come back into your body, and you just kind of don't feel, you're kind of discombobulated. Not everybody astral travels, not everybody dreams like that, so don't worry. And the third type, and people will only have this type maybe 1 or 2 times in your lifetime, will be prophetic. You'll dream of somebody dying, or you'll get the information in your dream about a grandmother or an aunt, somebody who is going to die, and in the morning you wake up and then you get the phone call, right? But you'll only ever get those a couple of times. So those are sort of the 3 main types of dreaming. And I know Andy has to go, so I just want to thank you, Andy, again. He's got a dinner with family. So thank you again, and we'll be in touch. Alrighty. Then we've got dreams about teachers. Okay, so if you have a spiritual teacher, or like say I come into your dream, you're dreaming about your spiritual consciousness growing. And the exception to that, you see, I don't want to confuse you with a 4th type of dreaming, but sometimes when you're astral traveling, you can go and be with your teacher's consciousness. So you're actually in their consciousness, and they can be dead. So you're up with their consciousness and communing with it. But most often, if you dream about a teacher, it is really about you showing up to becoming your own inner guide, your own inner wisdom. Okay? And if you dream about old teachers, like from primary school or university, and you had a favorite teacher, it's the awakening of the inner teacher. Okay? When you dream about other countries, foreign people, and you don't know the people in your dreams, foreign countries means you're moving into territory inside of yourself that you don't know about. It's new. It's completely new. And the more esoteric, or the more foreign the country, like if you dream about Europe, you've maybe never been there, but it's sort of in your realm of knowledge. But if you dream about someplace like Estonia or Azerbaijan or, you know, Yemen, they're not as common countries in the Western consciousness. So if you're dreaming about being in someplace like that, it's like the awakening of a whole new part of yourself. Remember, we are a territory. Our consciousness, I mean, has a beginninglessness and an endlessness. There is no boundaries to our consciousness. So when you travel or you're dreaming of traveling to a country that you've never been to, you're tapping into all kinds of new energy within yourself and your psyche. Okay? And similarly, when you have foreign people in your dreams, say you dream about a different race, like a Native American person or an Aboriginal person, or somebody who's not of your race. Again, a foreign part of you is showing up, a new part of you. That's what that means. It's new to you. Okay? So if you're Tibetan and you dream about a white person, that's a new part of you showing up. And all the people within your dreams are a reflection of you. Every single one of them. So whether it's your aunt or your cousin or whatever, they are just showing you a part of you. And the thing about the divine and dreaming is that the divine likes to give us puzzles. And it gives us puns and plays on words. So like if you dream about the sole of your shoe, and you take your shoe off in your dream and you're looking at the sole, what do you think the divine's trying to talk to you about? Right? It ain't shoes. It's talking to you about your consciousness and your soul. So be very careful. Like I often say, if you have an important dream, talk it out very quickly to somebody. And they don't want to hear your dream. Nobody ever wants to hear anybody else's dream, believe me. However, you need to talk it out so that you can hear it, so that it goes in deeper. And when it goes in deeper, then you can make change, and your psyche knows, and the divine knows, you got the message. Okay, so the other day I had a really, really wild dream, a dream that I've had maybe 4 or 5 in my lifetime that stick with me my whole life. And I had one of those after the retreat we had this weekend. And I kind of held Lisa hostage, and I told her the whole dream, and I knew she didn't care. And I know enough that you have to talk it through, write it down as well. So write it down and talk it through, because the details will be gone. And it's in those details that the divine is living. Blood, pus, vomiting. These are all really, really good signs in your dreams. Okay? It's signs of purification. So if you're throwing up or you got a great big blister or boil, it's like old parts of you are coming to the surface and they're going to burst. Or if you're throwing up, this is like you're letting go of all kinds of negative parts of you. And again, if you dream, if in this level of reality, you see some of those signs and symbols, it's also metaphoric for what you're going through now. All right. So if you start all of a sudden getting acne, or you start getting little blisters on your skin, you're purifying. The insides are detoxing, and it's coming out on your skin. Right. Or if you see a kangaroo jumping across your path, go in. Now, kangaroo energy, very domestic, common energy. And I mean, the First Nations, the Aboriginal people, have special meanings for kangaroos. What would it represent for you? Because it's a very, very common animal, common energy, and it's a little bit erratic. You can never tell with a kangaroo what's going to happen. Or a skunk crosses your path. Even little birds. Notice, because that's the divine coming to you and giving you a symbol. And you can ask for a dream. You go to bed at night. You have a problem that you're dealing with in the day. You can ask and say, can you show me in my dream time what the answer to that question might be? And then when you wake up in the morning, write it down. And then uncover it and try and tease it apart. Remembering that every single part of that dream is you. All right. Now, when you do that, when you ask for a dream, or even if you remember something in the morning, the way to honor our dreams is that in the morning, in that day, say you've written it out and there's something particular that comes up. And I'll share a particular dream that I had many, many years ago. It was a crocodile in my dream. And this was before I went in to learn about my sexual abuse. And there was this crocodile, and he was in stagnant water, really, really old, still water. And on his nose, he had this First Nations beautiful motif. It was painted on the whole of his snout. And I had to walk on his snout, walk, and then put my hand down into this sludgy kind of water, and I picked up a gold bar. All right? So crocodile, ancient, old part of yourself. I had to go deep, deep, deep within to find out this information about my abuse. Still water. Water represents the emotions. So it was still, but it was like a mucky pond. And I was reaching down to get this bar of gold. The bar of gold was me, my inner gold. So water, you have a tsunami, you have rain, you have lakes, you have ponds, you have rivers. All of them represent your emotions. Okay? Just different types of, like, is it tumultuous emotion? Is it white water rafting? Or is it a still lake? Mine was a still, we call them in Canada slough. So it's like a stagnant water. So my emotions were stagnant. Okay, so I think that's as much as I'm going to say. If anybody's sparked by this and wants to ask on this call about a particular dream or recurring dreams, if you have recurring dream, it's you're not getting the message. So you have to turn and face the dream, write it out, and look at what it's trying to say. And the reason why it recurs is because you haven't got the message yet. Oh yeah, and this is the part I forgot. So this crocodile dream that I had, I woke up because I had been dealing with dreams many, many years. And I went and I bought a little plastic crocodile. And I put it on my desk. Because I was telling the divine, I was telling God, I got your message. I got it. And then the divine will speak to you more through dreams. Okay? So it's a conversation. It's a relationship. Remember, it's one of the 3 pillars: relationship to God, relationship to the divine, relationship to your higher self, right? So there's information coming at you all the time. Are you awake enough to notice? And don't take it to the point where it's like, oh my God, and like freak out that everything is so, so important, because you're going to have another dream tomorrow night and another one and another one. So they're going to keep coming. So it's not like hold it sacred as sacred, but know that there's more to come. One more, food. Food in your dreams is all about nurturance. The type of nurturance. Is it fresh food? Is it baked food? Okay, when you dream of baking, something inside of you is not quite ready to show to the public. You're being baked, okay? Something that's fresh, fruit, something that's freshly nourishing you. When you dream about meat, this is sort of the, protein is the molecular structure of, by and large, who we are. So if you're dreaming of meat, you may need to eat some meat. Also, that's another thing. Watch in your dreams, because if you dream about an orange, you may wake up in the morning and need to have some vitamin C, right? But this is the joy. This is the guessing game. You get to work with it, and bring them up in the Facebook group and say, I had this strange dream, right? And I always say to the person, I want to hear your interpretation first, and then I'll help you along. Okay? So, was that helpful? Just thumbs up or thumbs down? Yeah, good. Good, excellent. I find that doing this with groups, like I'll do it every 3-4 months as a refresher, and it really goes in deeper for people, all right? And as I say, you know, if you're sleep talking and sleepwalking, that's your unconscious wanting to bring information forward. So pay attention. And people who snore, often that is about repressed energy. So the more you come to life and are able to breathe and notice your dreams and are in awareness, the less you're going to be in the backlog. Okay? So the less you're going to snore. All right. So I am just going to look all good.